Hi Taurus, welcome to your monthly April reading with me, Raphael Ray from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me. So let's see what the month of April has in store for you. I would like to bless both of these decks with all forms of love like peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good as always. Okay, so let's see your actions and your interactions with the world at large. You've got the Five of Swords. So you are not taking any prisoners this month, Taurus. The Five of Swords is fraught communication. Now, we will all be experiencing this in some way, shape or form. If you haven't checked it out already, have a look at your Taurus, Aries, your Taurus Mercury retrograde in Aries special. I've got them up for every single sign, so go and have a look at yours and see what comes up for you. Communications can be fraught for everyone this month because we've got Mercury retrograde in the sign of Aries. So that's miscommunication, and then we've got the Aries energy backing it up, which is fiery and feisty. But this month I say you are taking no prisoners, because the thing about the Five of Swords is, now usually when I see this, it's fraught communication, absolutely. You will be having harsh words with people this month, partially to do with the retrograde, but also because when I see this card, I usually say to people, don't let something or someone or any situation compromise who you are or make you feel a certain way just for the sake of being able to say that you've won. Now, I would usually say that to everybody when I see this card, but what I feel today is completely different. It's almost like the feeling that I get from this is you are going to win the battle and you are going to make damn sure that you're going to win the war. Taurus has something to say this month, and woe betide anybody that gets in the way of the ball this month. Anybody that tries to hold you back, and more importantly, anybody that tries to... I almost feel like you're having this battle of wills with somebody, and this month it's really going to out. And it's like, the only thing that I can say to you is be careful not to make everybody collateral damage. You know, whatever this battle is that is taking place in your life, you know, whether it be at work, whether it be at home, just remember there are often casualties in war, and you don't want to end up hurting somebody else just for the sake of winning this. I kind of feel like you're on a path and you will not stop this month until you have succeeded, and more power to you. You know, you've had this whole theme kind of running through the last 3-4 months actually, where you've been really finding your feet and deciding, you know, how much you want to become yourself, and more importantly how much you want to demonstrate, excuse me, who you are. And that's really beautiful because it means you're stepping up and owning your own power. I just want you to be careful of creating collateral damage this month. You will be heard regardless. Okay, so your money and your materials. You got yourself, you got the Hierophant card. The Hierophant card is the sign of Taurus. This is a really, really powerful place to be, because it means that you've come up in your own reading, and it also means that you are finding a balance between the spiritual laws of the world and the material, you know, official status quo rules of the world. It's like you're balancing you know, the physical realm and the spiritual realm. The Hierophant usually shows up because it is a deeply spiritual card. Make no mistake about that. The Hierophant, the High Priest, is a very spiritual card, but it has its roots in structured religion. It has its roots in the dogma. Now, the thing about the sign of Taurus is you guys are really good at this stuff. You guys are really good with money and materials. And the reason you're really good at this stuff is because you understand the idea and the ideals of partnership, but you also understand the idea of doing things by the book. You know, you have a real sense of that, and you gain a lot of security and a lot of power from that. Now, your money and your materials, you're going to be having something revealed to you this month. Now, look at this already. So you've got 5 of Swords, you've got the Hierophant, which is 5. So you've got 5 and 5 already. You've got 2 5s out. So the number 5 is going to feature quite heavily for you this month in some way, shape or form. In terms of numerology, the number 5 represents change. So your finances and your money are going to undergo a really big change this month, and that's great. And I think this, what I kind of feel from this actually, is it's very much going to be by your choosing. And this is you getting really serious about your finances. This is you getting really serious about what you want to create, and more importantly, the kind of stability and security that you want. Because everyone says, oh, you know, Taurus is all about food and money and nice things, and you really are. But Taurus is also about security. And I think what's happening this month, in the month of April, you're really thinking at a deep level, what do I associate with the word security? What will make me feel secure? In terms of your health, this is you getting a lot of deep insight into how you're, you know, how to keep yourself healthy. This is you having a real understanding of the rules and the laws that it takes to keep yourself healthy. You know, this is a real understanding of the physical world, but also the spiritual world. Often I see this card as well when people are about to be initiated in some way, shape or form. So for some of you, that promotion that you've been fighting for, that step up the ladder, that recognition that you have been asking for or waiting for, it comes this month. And it says, you know, when you see the Hierophant card there, it says that you bloody earned it. So well done you, Taurus. Your communications, and so actually these two as well, when you put these together, this means that you're fighting hard for something that you believe in. You're fighting hard for something, you know, you're fighting hard for what is considered right. You know, you're doing things the right way. And you've got the 5s there. You know, 5 again for Taurus is actually a really beautiful number because it represents the 5 senses, you know, sight, taste, touch, sound, smell. You know, really tapping into the deep sensual nature of life. You know, do nice things for yourself this month. Take care of your body. Do things that take you out of your mind and put you squarely into your physical self, which is another thing that's really deeply important for Taurus. So in your communications, okay, this is interesting because it falls underneath the actions and the interactions, and you've already got fraught communication there. And now you get that 8 of Swords in your communication sector. This is you having to bite your tongue this month. This is you having to, and it's interesting because you've got something to say and you will be heard. That's fine. But somewhere, some authority is silencing you. There is something or someone sitting on top of you that is in a higher position than you. And it's really important that you don't trip yourself up this month, because this card represents constriction, it represents imprisonment, it can sometimes even represent entrapment. So, you know, this is not the month for you to be doing anything covert. This is not the month. I mean, in all honesty, when I talked about the numerology of this year, this isn't the year to be doing anything covert or whatever, because it's going to blow up. It can only withstand so much before it will be revealed prematurely. So I would be very wary of said behaviours. However, to bring it back to this, it's like some authority figure, you know, whether it's a bank, a building society, a university, a school, you know, a doctor's surgery, or, you know, whatever. It's some bigger governing body, because the Hierophant is the status quo. You know, it's the bigger society, it's the structured religions, it's the church, it's, you know, and in the old days the church was the government basically. And this is kind of, this tells me that some authority is imposing on you and will be censoring you this month. So you have to find a way to say what you've got to say, to be heard, but to do it within the confines of what is considered the law and considered right. And then you have to take that even further And you have to find a way to liberate yourself. You have to find a way to not feel tied down, tied in, sat on top of, you know, you have to find some way of not being silenced. You have to find some way to tap into your own innate freedom. I remember reading a book once, I can't remember what it was called, but it was about this guy that was in prison for a really long time, and he talked, you know, so deeply about being free within himself. You know, he said, you know, although I was imprisoned, my body was imprisoned, my mind and my spirit were the vastest things that I had reached to, you know, that I had access to, and I found my liberation and my freedom within them until I was released from prison. And that, you know, is, I mean, that's such a huge concept to think about, you know, but yeah, find a way to make yourself free this month so that you don't bubble up and end up kind of stepping on the wrong toes, because authority wins this month, I'm afraid. Okay, and then finally, in your heart and your hearth, your emotional sector and your relationships. Oh, you get temperance. Beautiful. Okay, so this is the liberation. This is the freedom. So it will come. So, you know, probably I would say right up until around the 24th of April. That's the date that comes to me. Actually, let's make it the 23rd, because the number 5 seems to, you know, and 23, 2 and 3 gives you. So from around the 23rd to the 24th onwards, you will start to feel the liberation. You will start to feel the freedom. So it's only going to be a short while, but it will be intense. In your heart and your half, you get the temperance card. This is about blending all avenues of life. It's about taking a little bit of the freedom, a little bit of the restriction, a little bit of the rule book, a little bit of the rebellion, and mixing it all together so that you have a blueprint of how to step forward. This is the process of, the temperance card is the process of spiritual distillation. It's about finding the gems. Each one of these experiences, each one of these sectors of life have something to teach you this month. And underneath the Mercury retrograde, you will be going through it. You will be finding, you know, that you have ways and resources on the internal planes that you weren't quite aware of, you know. And one of the things with the temperance card is she's got the fire triangle over her heart. That represents her power to succeed through the sheer force of will. It also represents bringing passion into, you know, bringing your heart into what your passion is. And she's got the sun disk over the third eye, which means she sees the beauty in every situation. Now, the interesting thing is the temperance card is the number 14, which comes after death. Temperance is the liberation after the grieving, after the heartache and the pain and all the rest of it. Temperance comes in and says, right, okay, what have I learnt from this entire experience? What has this pain taught me? What has this emotional turmoil given me? Actually, it's given me an innate freedom and an understanding of just how much I possess on an internal level. So for those of you that are coupled, and you know that in fact this kind of says to me that you will be finding freedom within your relationship and you will be offering freedom within your relationship. It also tells me that for some of you this will be your relationship coming to an end. Those of you that are in this position will know, and part of the reason for this ending of the relationship is because you refuse to bow down, and more importantly because you refuse to be ruled. A partnership should be equal, and if you're not in an equal partnership, and that doesn't necessarily just mean with, you know, a personal intimate relationship. This could be a business partnership. It could also, you know, certainly a business partnership when you see these two opposite each other as well, actually. It could also be a familial or a platonic relationship. This is about you looking and taking, you know, huge stock of all of your relationships actually, and saying, look, you know what, if there isn't any freedom to be myself within this relationship, it's not going to continue. It cannot continue because I need more liberation and more freedom than that. So, you know, and then finally, when I see these two together, your actions and your emotions are marrying up because you've got this, which is 14, which gives you the number 5. So you've got 3 number 5s here. Number 5, change, evolution, fast and bumpy ride, being in it, you know, in it to win it, sex, drugs, rock and roll. That's the, you know, the body connection and the feeling into it and being, you know, in your sense reality, touch, taste, smell, sight, sound, all of that. You know, this is a really powerful month for you, Taurus. It's one to really deeply integrate into your physical self, and it's one to find ways of liberating yourself. For those of you that are single, the most peaceful person that you come across in the next few weeks will be the one that you want to spend the most time with, and that's who you need to look out for. Look out for the person that doesn't speak too much but listens to everything and everyone. Your key for the month: the Hanged Man. What's the best way to get what you want? The best way sometimes to get what you want is to do nothing, to allow it to come to you. The Hanged Man gives you the ability to stay separate. It gives you the ability to genuinely step away from something and allow a situation just to be. And sometimes this card, you know, sometimes sacrificing what you want will bring you what you want in the end anyway. If you want freedom, don't try to create it through harsh words and force. Just allow it to evolve. The right and wrong people will find their way into and leaving your life in the right way, shape, space, form and time. Taurus, I wish you an abundance of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance itself. I hope you have a great month, and I will see you very soon for more videos. Take care.